She found solace in shooting heavy guns to relieve her stress. Her criminal life remained a mystery. In several interviews, she consistently denied any connection to the drug trafficking activities of her husband, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman.
Mira, no tengo nada ilícito. Yo sé que a estas alturas el gobierno se ha encargado de checar o verificar si he hecho algo ilícito, si tengo cuentas ilícitas o cosas así. Yo sé que a estas alturas
I know that at this point the government already verified I've done nothing, I've done anything illicit.
Si tengo cuentas
or if I have illegal bank accounts. At this point they know I'm clean.
Emma Coronel Aispuro was born in California but raised in Mexico's Golden Triangle.
She was a narco princess from a very early age because her father, Inez, and her brother Omar had always been involved in the drug trade.
But she was also an entrepreneur and a social media.
So her family was in the game. It's easy to make that transition. Family already in the game. Just like I believe about old girl, that the 14-year-old that was with him for 2 years. Her family was in the game. They negotiated an arrangement.
The influencer. From beauty queen to TV celebrity, U.S. law enforcement trailed her every move and eventually proved her involvement in the operation.
TV celebrity, like I never seen that reality show. I would like to check that out just to see the demeanor and how much fake shit they made her do, or that she did.
Operations of the Sinaloa Cartel. She played a pivotal role in the historic escape of El Chapo Guzman from Mexico's highest security prison in 2015. After spending over 2 years incarcerated in the U.S. federal prison
she even looked good in jail. Damn.
System.
This Photoshop? Haters gonna say it's Photoshop.
Federal prison system. What will Emma Coronel's life be like in freedom? Who betrayed Emma Coronel? How much information did she provide to the U.S. government about the Chapitos and other associates of the Sinaloa Cartel? In this episode of Illicit Investigations, we delve into the life of Emma Coronel Aispuro, the wife of the infamous Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the former leader of the Sinaloa Cartel. We will uncover untold details of her life, her role in the criminal organization led by her husband, and the future that awaits her and her twin daughters in the U.S. Join us for this revealing profile of the Queen of Sinaloa. During her husband Joaquin El Chapo Guzman's trial, which took place between November 2018 and February 2019, she experienced significant stress. Hundreds of reporters and photographers from around the world traveled to Brooklyn, New York to cover the trial of the century. However, their interest extended beyond understanding the tentacles of the Sinaloa Cartel. They were also eager to capture every word and reaction from Emma Coronel. What nobody knew was that, in order to alleviate the stress of being the center of attention and witnessing her husband's downfall through the testimonies of witnesses, her bodyguards took her to a shooting range in New Jersey every week to provide an outlet for her stress. But Emma Coronel was no stranger to firearms.
I don't got nothing to do with this. She over there at the range just letting it all out. I ain't tied nobody to a tree in 5 days. I'm salty. Let me go shoot some shit. Salute think like a kingpin on the check-in. Chucky said that's wifey right there.
Although she was born in Santa Clara, California, as a baby she was taken to Canelas, a small town in the Mexican state of Durango, where her family originated from. Growing up, she was surrounded by weapons because her father, Emma Coronel, cultivated marijuana in the mountains that formed part of the Golden Triangle, an area notorious in Mexico for being the epicenter of drug production for the Sinaloa Cartel. Presently, her father is serving a 10-year prison sentence in Mexico for drug trafficking. At the age of 17, Emma Coronel participated in a beauty pageant in Canelas. 50-year-old El Chapo fell in love with her.
How old? Wait, how old?
Participated in a beauty pageant in trafficking. At the age of 17, Emma Coronel participated in a beauty pageant in Canelas. 50-year-old El Chapo fell in love with her.
Certified pedophiles.
El Chapo was invited to the contest by his old friend and associate, Ignacio Coronel Villarreal, who was Emma's uncle. Tragically, Ignacio was killed by the Mexican army in Zapopan, Jalisco in 2010. Emma grew up surrounded by drug traffickers and was always taught to keep her mouth shut and limit her discussions about what she heard and saw. She was groomed to be the wife of a kingpin, her destiny, and eventually married El Chapo. In the summer of 2011, she gave birth to twin daughters of El Chapo in Lancaster, California, named Maria Joaquina and Emily Guadalupe. During those days, following the death of Osama,
man literally took his name. Tell me there's no narcissism here, all right? Took his name to create the shorty's name, all right? Joaquina.
death of Osama bin Laden, El Chapo became the most wanted criminal in the world. Years before, in order to evade capture, Guzman invested in sophisticated communications encryption for his BlackBerry network, which encompassed his own device and over 100 others used by his family members, associates, and mistresses. El Chapo felt secure using BlackBerries because they were Canadian-made rather than American. In 2008, he hired Christian Rodriguez, a Colombian tech prodigy, to create an encrypted system that would enable safe communication with his inner circle. During El Chapo's trial, Rodriguez testified and revealed the existence of this encrypted system, through which El Chapo could access conversations and real-time locations of all the BlackBerries in his network, including Emma's. However, as Rodriguez became an informant for the FBI, all the private conversations of El Chapo were monitored.
So he had a whole network to himself and that shit got ratted out? Is that what they saying?
The U.S. government discovered that Emma Coronel was involved in activities such as money laundering and facilitating drug deals as a messenger for her husband. El Chapo Guzman was arrested in February
What if we find out she's been the boss the whole time of the whole thing, right? Everybody talking about Mayo or Chapo the whole time. It's her. That's the movie. That's the movie I want to see. Fantasy or whatever, I want to see that.
14 in Mazatlan, Sinaloa. Emma Coronel, their twin daughters, and a cook were present at the moment. While in prison, El Chapo sent messages in the form of letters, directing his subordinates to collect drug debts, move drugs and weapons, and carry out other actions to further the goals of the Sinaloa cartel. Thanks to Emma Coronel, who passed on those letters, El Chapo could maintain his leadership position while incarcerated in Mexico. Furthermore, Emma Coronel played a key role in the Hollywood-style escape of El Chapo from the Altiplano maximum security prison in Mexico in July 2015. Emma moved drug proceeds in the form of bulk cash to help finance the construction of the tunnel, and during one of her marital visits, she provided the device used to mark Guzman's location.
I'd like to argue that the cartel wives didn't help nobody escape from prison. That didn't happen.
And she would go in to see Chapo Guzman in Altiplano. She provided him with a global positioning watch so that when they constructed the mile-long tunnel into his cell, they knew exactly the coordinates of his jail cell.
Edgar Coronel, Emma's brother, served as the person who coordinated the construction of the tunnel under the supervision of the Chapitos. He was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison in Mexico for facilitating El Chapo's escape. In January 2016, El Chapo was arrested again in Los Mochis, Sinaloa, and was sent to a prison in Ciudad Juarez, located just across the border from El Paso, Texas. Emma attempted to assist her husband in another escape, but he was unexpectedly extradited to the United States in January 2017. During El Chapo's trial, one of his closest allies, Damaso Lopez Nunez,
All right, so for those that don't know, that's Licenciado. That's Mini League's father right there.
also known as El Licenciado, who was arrested in Mexico City in May 2017, testified against him. Lopez Nunez transitioned from being one of the most ruthless leaders of the Sinaloa cartel to becoming an informant for the U.S. government. During the trial, he provided details about Emma's involvement in El Chapo's escape from El Altiplano. Government sources who spoke to illicit investigations confirmed that Damaso Lopez Nunez was the key witness used by the prosecutors in Washington, D.C. to indict Emma Coronel.
Wait, does that mean he snitched? He snitched too? Oh, nobody want to talk about it? Does he got corridos and shit? I don't know. Y'all let me know. It's hot.
By the prosecutors in Washington, D.C. to indict Emma Coronel. Emma Coronel's life extends beyond her role as a loyal wife or an accomplice to the crimes attributed to her by the U.S. government.
Now let me ask y'all something. That's a BBL or that's all real? That's super on the trail.
Which she has accepted. She also displayed an entrepreneurial side. In 2018, she owned Casino Rios in Durango, which operated for a few months before closing without explanation. Photos from the casino's inauguration show Emma with her daughters, friends, and family members, including Claudia, her sister and best friend. Furthermore, she utilized her Instagram account, which boasts over 700,000 followers, to promote products and participate in advertising campaigns, earning extra income as an influencer, as seen with this wedding dress advertisement. According to sources familiar with Emma Coronel, the most challenging moments for her during El Chapo's trial were when the names of 3 of her husband's mistresses became public, leading to her public humiliation. The first mistress was Agustina Cabanillas, a business associate of El Chapo whom he referred to as La Fiera, or the Beast, due to her fierce character. He used her to establish front companies in various countries. The second mistress was Lucero Guadalupe Sanchez, a 29-year-old local politician in Sinaloa and a convicted drug trafficker. She testified in the trial and claimed to have had a romantic relationship with El Chapo while collaborating with him on several drug deals. The third mistress was Valeria Ruby Quiros, also known as La Gringuita, a Mexican-American model who had an affair with El Chapo when she was 15 years old.
Certified pedophiles. Wah, 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 wah.
Years later, she had a child with Mexican superstar boxer Saul El Canelo Alvarez after a brief romance in 2012. Since El Chapo's extradition to the U.S. in January 2017, the Chapitos distanced themselves from Emma Coronel. From that day onward, her role within the organization was to handle El Chapo's attorneys and manage all the legal paperwork in the U.S. Meanwhile, Ivan Archivaldo, Jesus Alfredo, and Ovidio maintained leadership of the cartel and provided Emma with the necessary funds to sustain her lavish lifestyle and cover all of El Chapo's legal expenses. However, direct communication between Emma and the Chapitos ceased. She distanced herself from the drug operations, and the main channel of communication with them became one of Ivan's former girlfriends, a Culiacan model named Citlali Morgan, who happens to be friends with Emma. Although they
So y'all tell me something. I don't know the rumors. I don't watch the Spanish news channels. So has this lady been, so let's just say nobody pulls a great escape. Chapo never sees the light of day. Chapitos, whatever their fate may be, whether they stay bosses or whatever goes down with them, is this lady just going to stay by herself on the outside being a single woman, or is this woman going to find somebody new, move on with her life? Or she just waiting around for Buddy? What's going to happen in this situation? Have there been any rumors of her running around with baseball players or anything like that?
They respected Emma for being their father's wife and the mother of their younger twin sisters. The Chapitos were not pleased with Emma's obsession with becoming a celebrity. Emma began traveling to Miami and made appearances on the reality show Cartel Crew, alongside other family members of former drug kingpins. During her time there, she developed a close friendship with Michael Corleone Blanco.
And I also think that's a way for her to figure out how to make money away from having to wait for them to give it to her. You know what I'm saying? Because she got to reinvent something if she want to keep that shit up. She got to stay under an executive producer that's going to put her on something. She's looking for that way out.
Son of the late Colombian drug lord Griselda Blanco, who was infamously known as the Black Widow. This greatly upset the Chapitos. They wanted Emma to maintain a discreet life, living quietly in Culiacan, similar to the daughters of El Ismael El Mayo Zambada. However, Emma desired to live her life with freedom and take advantage of the fame and connections she had acquired as the celebrity wife of El Chapo Guzman. In February 2021, Emma Coronel was arrested at Dulles International Airport in Virginia. She faced 3 counts, including drug conspiracy, money laundering conspiracy, and engaging in transactions with designated foreign drug traffickers. The news came as a surprise to many, but official sources informed illicit investigations that Emma's attorneys brokered a deal with the U.S. government, resulting in a mild sentence.
3 months.
The arrest at Dulles was, in fact, a surrender. It was an airport she never traveled to, and the court that issued the arrest warrant was in Washington, D.C. As a U.S. citizen, Emma had certain privileges. Prosecutors knew that she was not a leader or boss, but rather a cog in a large wheel of a powerful criminal organization. Emma pleaded guilty to the 3 counts and was sentenced to 36 months in prison. As part of the deal, she agreed to voluntarily forfeit $1.5 million that she had earned from criminal activities. After spending a few months in a federal prison in Virginia, she was transferred to a minimum security campus in Texas. There, she was able to make video calls from her iPad and participate in social activities such as taking photos with other inmates. Several weeks before regaining her freedom, Emma Coronel was sent to a halfway house in Long Beach, California, where she finally had the opportunity to see her twin daughters, Emily Guadalupe and Maria Joaquina. During the past years, her sister Claudia Coronel had been taking care of them.
Them are twins right there. They might as well be twins themselves, the sister and Emma.
The U.S. government recommended that Emma stay in the United States due to concerns that members of the Sinaloa cartel may believe she cooperated extensively with U.S. authorities and seek revenge. However, whatever knowledge Emma Coronel possessed about Sinaloa cartel operations had already been entirely revealed to the U.S. government by Damaso Lopez Nunez, the ultimate traitor of the Guzman family.
Oh shit.
Emma Coronel will embark on a new chapter of her life in the U.S., liberated from the pressures of being pursued by authorities. Harnessing her fame, she will venture into new endeavors, leveraging the support of her loved ones, including Mariel Colon, who, in addition to being her attorney, has become a trusted and cherished friend. Eventually, Emma will finally be able to visit her husband, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, who was serving a life sentence at the Supermax prison in Florence, Colorado. This is elicited.
Is she gonna want to at that point? That's the question. Or like Chucky said, is the next mafioso gonna be on and popping? She stopped in jail for a cup of coffee. What was that? Less than 2 years? Try to help the man escape, money laundering, hustling. Damn. He scooped her when she was 17 and he was 50. How long can beauty and the fame that comes with being El Chapo's wife, how long does that make you money before you got to figure out something else? She's 34 now. She better get a move on and making that money for herself.